Hey, DJ.
Wes, what's up, man?
Hey, did you know?
Wes, I got this one.
Okay, Ashley. Hey.
So I know you normally like to start it off with a did you know, but I figured since it's October and in the spirit of Halloween, we'd start it off with a little Wylie did you know.
I'm on board.
With a little haunted story
of
the Lady of the Lake Lavon.
Oh,
I like this.
I might get scared.
Story time.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the legend goes, one of the most well-known ghost stories in the Wylie area involves Lavon Lake. According to local legend, a woman in white is sometimes seen wandering near the lake at night. The story goes that she drowned in the lake years ago after her boat capsized. Now, her restless spirit is said to walk the shores, searching for her lost loved ones, and fishermen and campers claim to have seen her figure glowing in the moonlight, and some even report hearing her eerie cries late at night.
Okay, I didn't know it. I don't know that I want to know it, but I do know it now.
Yeah, I could go all day without knowing that. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Live, Love, Wylie podcast, hosted by Wes Dorsey and DJ Shirley. Connecting people in the city we live and love. Is my mic on? Okay, there it is. Yeah, here we go. First of all, before we get started, I forgot to do this last time. I need to thank the Live Love Wylie band for showing up, showing out.
We got some complaints last time.
We did.
Yeah, you didn't do it.
I mean, they almost went on strike, but we saved the day.
Small pay raise.
Small pay raise. We kept them in place. They're doing a great job. But anyway, hey, we got a super fun episode today. We got somebody that we've been wanting to get on the podcast for quite some time. She finally agreed to come on with us.
She's been dodging.
She's been dodging.
Oh, come on.
She's been dodging, hey. But, those that haven't seen the podcast before, you know what we like to do. Well, you don't know what we like to do, but the people that have seen it know what we like to do. We like to get people in here that's in the community, get to know the people behind the businesses, people that are making an impact in the community. And all those things go without saying for Miss Ashley Bledsoe with Bledsoe Hydromulch. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we really want to get started by just talking about, who's Ashley and how you came to Wylie and what brought you here and what you love about Wylie. So let's get kicked off doing that.
Yeah, so I would say there's many reasons on why we chose Wylie. The strong sense of community, the supportive people here, and the opportunity for growth were just many of the reasons that we chose to come here. Wylie's known for embracing small businesses, and we wanted where we started our business to feel like home and somewhere to be where we knew neighbors supported local businesses and that a small business would be able to thrive. And Wylie's energy and community pride made it a very easy choice for us to decide that this is where we wanted to not only live, but build and grow a business.
That's awesome. So how did you so let's talk early Ashley.
Early Ashley.
So how'd you, where'd you go to college? Did you go to college? Did you, how you progressed and ended up in Wylie?
So I initially went to Naaman Forest High School. That's where I graduated high school. And I didn't really have a set vision on what I wanted to do with my life. Fun fact, I always wanted to be an artist, a painter.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I was a very big art guru in middle school and high school, and I loved to do sculptures and paintings, but it was never something I pursued. I was really big into sports, and that kind of overtook my life. And after high school, I kind of rebelled against all the sports, and I quit everything, and I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do. And so I traveled. I, moved 19 hours away to Scottsdale, Arizona. That was the first place I lived. And then traveled to California, then Colorado, and somehow made my way back to Texas. There was just a pool, and came back, and that is when I met my husband. And he was actually born and raised here. He's been here his entire life. And when we were house hunting, the main rule was we are not living in Wylie and we're not living in Saxe because Wylie, his parents live in Wylie, and Saxe is where my parents live in. And we were like, we don't want to be super, super close.
Yeah.
Well, not only after me learning more about Wylie, and the community and room for growth, and the house we found, it had all of the check marks on our list, and it ended up being not only on the same street but 8 houses down from his parents. And we love it. Like, it couldn't be better. But it's just funny, you always say you have this plan, but God has a different plan in store.
Absolutely.
You never know what it's going to be. So it's pretty surprising that we ended up here, but I can't imagine living anywhere else or starting a business in a different community other than Wylie.
That's great. Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. When did you get the idea about what kind of business to start and how you progressed through that process?
The idea came out of desperation and despair, and
Most great ideas do.
being at rock bottom.
Yeah.
I've always kind of felt that most businesses are either started out of desperation or inspiration. And my husband was in the oil field for nearly 10 years. And back in 2016, before election, the oil field typically takes a dip. Well, this was a pretty intense dip, and he ended up getting laid off. And at that point, I had quite a wide gap in my resume. So we were just kind of left in limbo, like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And he was able to find a new job as a mechanic at Premier, as a Freightliner mechanic. And I was venting to a family friend. He owns a hydromulching company out in Van, Texas, and it's very successful. And he was like, look, I know you've probably never heard of this, but if you have some savings, it'd be worth looking into because the government fully supports women-owned businesses. And I get a lot of calls for jobs out in your area, and I don't service that area. And competition is slim to none.
Yeah.
He was like, it's not an oversaturated market, and if it's something you're able to do, it might be worth looking into. So I went down this deep rabbit hole of looking into hydromulch, found out that University of Georgia provides a trade school and allows you to get certified through the National Association of Landscape Professionals, completed that, and kind of hit the ground running. And
There's something else I didn't know. I didn't know that there was a certification in hydromulch.
a lot of people don't. Even landscapers in this area, in the state of Texas, do not hold the certifications that I hold because they do not know that it isn't an option. So there are probably, I think the last time I checked, 3 to 4 people in the state of Texas that hold this certification.
Wow,
So
that's a big deal.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
Oh, that's
We
good
learn everything from soil, insects, pesticides, lawnmowers. So we really know a good grasp of all kind of things that go into growing a healthy, sustainable grass and vegetation.
That's awesome. So how long has Bledsoe Hydromulch been in business?
We are going on 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happened, I feel like, in a blink of an eye.
That's good. Yeah. And your husband has the most epic beard. Yeah. I used to have a long beard myself, but I just couldn't, it didn't look as good as his. So I got rid of it.
It is his pride and joy. He takes care of that thing. He has a special conditioner and a special comb.
Yes. Remember well. So let's talk about, so what all kind of specialty equipment do you need to kind of do hydromulching?
Oh, yeah. So there's all different types of machines, but we prefer a turf maker, and they are also local-ish. They're from Rockwall, and they make and manufacture all of the turf maker machines here in Texas. And we have 2 of their machines. We have a smaller one, the 550, and it has an agitator inside it that mixes up all of the ingredients, if you will, to make a harmonious slurry that can then be suspended from a hose and essentially painted directly onto bare dirt. So the equipment is kind of contingent on your customer base and what all you're wanting to provide. So we have 2 hydromulch machines, one that is smaller for more residential jobs, that's more ideal for homeowners, and a larger one that's more ideal for commercial and government jobs to where we can complete million square foot jobs in much less time. And then there's also the avenue of doing prep work and seedbed prep to get the site and the ground and soil properly prepped and ready to receive the hydromulch, which is another avenue we just recently entered and started to offer.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's plenty of room to expand, but as far as equipment, it's some big heavy machinery, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos on Facebook with you guys spraying and stuff. You know, I think maybe we got to. I know what hydromulch is, but I think maybe a lot of our viewers and listeners may not know exactly what that term means.
Yeah.
So could you kind of explain that?
Sure. So hydromulch is essentially a spray grass that we suspend from a hose and is essentially painted directly onto bare dirt. And as it receives water, that material breaks down to provide nutrients to those seedlings, and the grass then grows up. And in 4 weeks, you're quite literally mowing a sea of grass.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of, I like to say it's a chia pet for your lawn.
So it can grow. That's a great analogy. So it can grow. It grows up in 4 weeks.
Contingent
quick?
on the homeowner. So there is a little bit of homework, if you will, for the homeowner. We like to recommend watering 2 to 3 times a day, depending on what type of seed you have installed. And if they are able to be diligent with the watering, then they should be mowing in roughly 4 weeks. So it works a lot better if you have a sprinkler system and irrigation already installed. That way you can basically just set it and forget it.
Set a cycle and then just let it run.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. So is the slurry that you mix, is that a specific recipe that like all hydromulch companies use, or do you have is there a special recipe that you put together that's proprietary to Bledsoe?
Yeah, so great question. Yes, and yes. So there is a mix. We did not create the wheel, but I like to say we have perfected it. So typically in your basic hydromulch slurry, it's a combination of mulch, seed, fertilizer, water, and a bonding agent that thoroughly adheres that mixture to the soil. That way rain is beneficial and doesn't wash it away. But we have absolutely perfected it, and we base it on each site. So each site is, the slurry is custom tailored specifically for each site and their expected outcome. So there's a lot of seed blends that we will use for government erosion control purposes that we will not recommend for homeowners because it yields a totally different look and aesthetic. So from far away, it looks really, really beautiful and green, but when you approach it, it's more spaced out because it has thicker stolons and it's more native grasses such as buffalo and blue grama, things like that. Whereas homeowners, they want more of your golf course quality, if you will. So we offer a wide variety of different Bermuda grasses ranging from common to your high-end golf course quality type, depending on the aftercare that the homeowner is willing to put into it per month.
Okay. So basically they got a menu that
Yeah.
they could pick what kind of grass they want, and you custom mix
Absolutely.
whatever that they're wanting. Mm-hmm. Wow. That I did not know. That's cool information as well. So what makes hydromulch better than sod?
Ooh, another good question. So
Well,
a lot of
these
variables.
these are all things I want to know.
Yeah. So first and foremost, the cut of the sod. Typically, that's up to the farmers, and you want a good inch thick pad of soil from when they cut it. And a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes the farmers will do a thin cut of the pad, and that lessens the chance of that sod establishing properly with a healthy root system because they did not leave enough. They cut off a little too much. Yeah, they shaved a little too much off. So that's not something you have to worry about with hydromulch. We come in and we install it directly on your soil. So there's no transplanting with a different soil, where they have tip-top soil conditions, tip-top irrigation and maintenance practices, and then we're relocating it to a homeowner that has completely different soils. Maybe they have a sandy loam or something like that. So that's one reason. Also, installation spacing. Sometimes they don't always tuck it in nice and tight, whereas hydromulch, it is a nice, even, thick application that establishes with 0 lines and spacing. Also, whenever you buy sod, a lot of times for the best prices, you have to order it across the border. So a lot of it comes from Oklahoma. And with that come new insects that our pest control people do not either have the correct products to eradicate them safely and effectively from these grasses, or they're not educated in them yet because they're not here in our
It's an
home
invasive
state.
species,
Exactly,
right?
and we're now bringing those insects across the border and letting them roam.
You know,
So
those are two things that I never thought about sod is the differences in the soil, you know, from where the sod came from and the where you're putting it. I didn't think about the compatibility of the soil making a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
That's a neat fact, and also the insects. Didn't know that either. So that yeah, thank you for that. So does as far as erosion control, I know you're spraying this stuff on dirt. Now I've heard that hydromulch helps with erosion control and keeps the dirt from moving. Now, how's that? How does it do that?
Right. So that is essentially what this stuff was designed for. It starts off as a very liquidy, I describe it as snotty because it's kind of sticky from
Yeah.
that bonding agent mixture. And as it dries, it forms a very hard, almost paper mache like carpet. And it fades into a hay color. So when you bend down and touch it when it's dry, it's nearly rock hard. And that's why it requires light, frequent waterings to help break that down gradually over time properly to feed those seedlings and help keep them consistently saturated so that they can establish the correct way. Whereas sod, you basically have to drown it at first. You really have to resaturate that padding to reactivate that root system. So it's two totally different watering methods. And that's another thing that a lot of homeowners mix up right off the bat is they think you water it the same way you do sod and you don't. It's typically light, frequent waterings, and you want it to dry out in between each watering.
I always thought it was just like a water solution with the green grass seeds in there, and you shot it out, and it just soaked in, and that was it. But it actually creates like a hard shell.
Right.
You remember the chocolate you used to put on the ice cream, and it would form the hard shell.
Yes.
So it's kind of similar to that, right?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that just popped in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's talk about the cost comparison between doing hydromulch and sod. How does it compare? Is it
Oh my gosh, there absolutely is no comparison. The savings are just astronomical. So it's essentially the DIY of sod. If you are down for putting in a little bit of work and watering 2 to 3 times a day for the first 30 days, you're looking at possibly 13 to 14 cents a square foot versus I believe sod is around $1.10 per square foot right now, maybe a little more,
That's huge.
including installation. So that whenever we educate, say, home builders on the cost savings, they can in turn relay that to the home builder and say, look, with all these savings, you can now install irrigation, a couple trees, do some hardscape, maybe update those light fixtures that you were wanting to do because their savings are that large.
Are you seeing a lot of home builders that are built? I mean, because North Texas, I mean, we're booming with new construction homes. Are you seeing any new construction home builders coming to you wanting to put in hydromulch?
Oh, absolutely. So now that the awareness is out there and has been growing and more home developers are aware that it is an option, the city requires a nice fuzz before you can officially close on a home. And so we found a happy medium with that. So the builders will sod the front, sides, and a portion of the back, and then in turn we can come in and hydromulch the remainder of the property at a fraction of the cost, where then they can either choose to install some more upgrades on the exterior of their home or just simply save it
That's cool.
and maybe
Okay.
buy a new car.
There you go. Awesome. So is there anything about hydromulch that I'm overlooking that I mean, because this is relatively new to me. I don't know much about it until now. Is it what else can we tell the audience about it that we haven't already discussed?
That it just is an environmentally and economically friendly alternative to sod. Typically, when you think of an ugly lawn or, oh my gosh, I need to fix my lawn, your first thought is sod or popping into Home Depot to get some grass seed.
Yeah.
And if you flip over those bags and you look at what's called the PLS, it's a germ tag on every bag seed. And PLS means pure live seed. And typically on those Home Depot bags, you're looking at probably 20%, maybe less, pure live seed, and everything else is inert matter, noxious weeds. Some of it's garbage. You're, literally spreading everything but pure grass seed out on your lawn. So I think it's just kind of letting people know that it is another form of grass installation that is easy, cost effective, and quick.
That's awesome. All right. So moving on a little bit, I know you're very active in the community. You're very active with the Chamber of Commerce. Kind of give us, the audience, a background on what you're doing with the Chamber of Commerce and some of the other activities that you're doing.
Oh, yes. So I'm deeply involved with the Wylie Area Chamber of Commerce. Some of the things we've been working on are gearing up for this year's Elfin Gala, the Women's Conference next year, and we're just kind of busy deep diving and seeing all the ways that we can just give back and help continue to grow the community and keep it as incredible as it is.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of on your social media posts. You're really driving the women's conference. Are you heading that up? Are you the brains behind that?
I wouldn't say I'm the brains behind it. No, I would love to take all that credit, but it is truly a team effort. We have an amazing committee of women that are just full of knowledge and insight in all different areas and aspects. And it's just a beautiful demographic of women that we have around the table that offer so many different, areas that are just going to make this upcoming conference even better.
That's awesome. So let's talk about that real quick. We can get the word out for that. Who is this conference? Obviously for women, but who is it? Just entrepreneurs? Is it business owners? Is it just anybody that wants to attend? What does that look like?
I think it's for all of that and everyone in between. Even your teenage girls that are at 18, 19, 20, just branching out into the world, not really knowing which direction they want to go. The women at these conferences are at all different stages in their life and levels of their career. Either they have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and hat, and have all sorts of wisdom to offer you, or they are also just starting off in their newly entrepreneurial journey and have some things that they can provide from different levels. And it's just really beautiful to see all of these women come together from all these different areas and walks of life, and we can all learn something from each other, and you leave that day with so much empowerment and just feeling so full and just ready to go out and attack it.
Heck yeah. So for the women out here that's listening, and they want to come to this, they want to get involved, where can they find more information about it?
The Wylie Chamber of Commerce website is definitely where the most updates happen. And you can also become a member of the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, as there are weekly emails that get sent out keeping you updated on what is happening, what's coming up in months to come. So that would be my first recommendation, is get plugged in. That way you can stay up to date on all of the events that happen here locally.
Absolutely. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce myself, and I read every email that comes out and all the events that are coming up and the new businesses that are in town, and it's just a great involvement, especially if you're involved with the community, to be with the Chamber of Commerce. And I was moving on. But so how long have you been on this board? Are you on the board of the Chamber of Commerce?
I am. Yes, I'm a member of the board of directors. I have been on it for almost a year, but I've been a member of the chamber for, I think, 2 going on 3 years maybe now. So it has definitely been instrumental in growing of my business. And I'm not scared to say that I was very naive in my early years in thinking that my network was already large enough and that I did not need to be involved deeply with the community or the chamber to grow my business. And I quickly learned, boy, was I wrong. It is
Absolutely.
instrumental in growing your business. And, you know, it just puts you in rooms with community leaders and other business owners to form collaborations and partnerships that may not have otherwise been possible had I not been a part of the chamber and at that mixer.
Absolutely. And not to just brag, but I think, you know, the Wylie and the Wylie Way and the Wylie Chamber of Commerce, I just feel like we have a different community here that, you know, we embrace everybody, we help everybody. You know, I'm astounded every time, you know, you see, you know, people coming together to do special things.
It is really beautiful. I mean, the community pride and, you know, camaraderie, you can't replicate it. And
Yeah.
you won't find it anywhere else, I feel. I mean, I've traveled and lived in a lot of different areas, and Wylie, if it is home. It is, even if you haven't been born and raised here, as soon as you come here and start to establish roots, it is home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I moved here in 2000, so I've been here 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've watched it grow. I mean, I haven't been here like your husband's my whole life, but you know, this is the one place that I have lived the longest my whole life.
Yeah.
So it's really neat, and you know, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else, just because of the community and the people
Yeah.
in this city. So it's a great, and you know, and I mean, it goes all the way to the businesses here. It goes all the way to the Wylie ISD and all the good things that they do for the community as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what have we not? What is there anything else that the audience needs to know about Ashley Bledsoe? Did I cover it all?
I
don't
like
think
we
I did.
I feel like
I
we
mean-
did. I mean, just we kind of touched on a little bit of everything, but I mean, it's just me in a nutshell. I'm very family oriented. I'm, you know, very big in community involvement and just providing a friendly and economically cost effective alternative to sod. And those are just really the top of my list and what I strive to accomplish every day and get better at.
So where can people find you online?
They can find us at our new website that
I
Great
just-
Scott Marketing
I
just created.
I just saw. I clicked through
Go
it
check
yesterday.
it out.
Yeah,
Check
yeah.
out all the awesome photos and videos. It's bledsoehydromulch.com. And we are also on virtually every social media platform, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the things.
We'll get DJ to post all those links in the
Yeah.
in the section below in the description of the video, so they'll be able to find you real quick, and
Perfect.
be sure to follow Ashley on social media. She she shares great stories and great videos of what they do every day. You're putting in a new driveway, yeah?
Yes, we are. Oh my, that's going on right now. Concrete is getting poured as we speak.
I saw. Did you guys bust out the old concrete yourself?
No, we did not. So the crew we have is absolutely amazing. They did that in less than a day. And it was just a couple guys, and they were...
That was a long driveway.
It was, and we were expanding it as well because we have a very large, machinery.
Yeah.
And when we purchased the house, the driveway was already cracked and, under it had a lot of wear and tear on it. But over the years, just even more so driving the heavy equipment, it has just made it even worse. And it started to affect our equipment, and we had to get it done. And so while we were getting it done, we're like, well, we might as well make it wider. And then while we were making it wider, we were like, well, we should do some parking, a little parking off to the side.
Yeah.
And then we should also redo the sidewalk.
And you have a big shop back there as well, right?
Yes, yep. That's where all the magic happens.
There you go. There you go. So did you last night I got out, drove around town, and I didn't go, but I've been before, but there was Boo on Ballard. Did you go to Boo on Ballard last
I
night?
did not make it out, but I heard it was quite an amazing turnout. I know each year the turnout, I believe, gets bigger and bigger. And from what I've heard, I think this year may have been the biggest turnout. I don't know if numbers are in
I don't know,
officially.
the traffic that I saw last
but
night.
it was
definitely
pretty wild.
Record. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Ashley, again, I want to thank you for being on the show. Go check Ashley and Bledsoe Hydromulch out on social media. Follow them, like them. I want to thank you for the nice trucker hat you brought us, the gifts. We always love guests that come on with gifts.
Yes,
So we appreciate that. So thank you again for joining us.
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to the Live, Love, Wylie podcast. Make sure you're following us on all social medias. If you're listening online, you can make sure you favorite our podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.